The House Oversight Committee has revealed a $20 million Biden bribery scheme. This is quite something. I'm going to read you this tweet thread from the House Oversight, or this X thread. It's not Twitter anymore. This X thread from the Oversight Committee, it says, Biden family investigation. Today, we are releasing a bank records memo detailing how the Bidens and their associates received millions from oligarchs in Russia, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine. As Hunter was sealing the then Vice President Biden dined with these oligarchs in D.C. So what's really interesting, before we get started here, what's really interesting to me about what the House Oversight Committee did is you and I and everyone watching this show, even Democrats, know that Hunter Biden is corrupt. We know that he engaged in pay-to-play schemes. He sold access to his father as vice president. But what's the most interesting thing to me is when we can actually see exactly how it was done. Because corruption is just a criminal enterprise disguised by confusion, camouflaged by confusion. And when you can see step A, step B, step C, step D, that's fascinating to me. So that's what the Oversight Committee did, is they detailed exactly how this was done. They said, we've now identified $20 million in payments from foreign sources to the Bidens and their associates. During Joe Biden's presidency or vice presidency, Hunter sold him as, quote unquote, the brand. No real services were provided other than access to the Biden network, including Joe Biden himself. On February 14th of 2014, this of course is during the Obama years, right, when Biden was vice president, Russian oligarch Yelena Baturina wired $3.5 million to a shell company associated with Hunter Biden and Devon Archer. About $1 million was transferred to Archer, and the remainder was used to initially fund a new company account, which Archer and Biden used to receive other foreign wires. In spring of 2014, then, a Ukrainian oligarch placed Archer and Biden on the Burisma board of directors and agreed to pay each of them $1 million per year. Then Vice President Joe Biden visited Ukraine soon after they joined Burisma. Hunter claimed credit for this visit to show, quote unquote, value. So we're pretty familiar with this up until now, but here's where it gets interesting. On April 22nd of 2014, Kazakhstani oligarch Kenes Rakashev wired the exact price of Biden's sports car to a bank account used by Archer and Biden. The very next day, a payment was made to purchase the sports car. Which, this is incredible to me. Like, they didn't even try to hide this. They thought their bank account situation was so convoluted or so hidden that they're actually shaking down foreign oligarchs, an oligarch from Kazakhstan for the price of a sports car. The House Oversight goes on to say, after receiving the sports car payment, Archer and Biden then arranged for Burisma executives to visit Kazakhstan in June of 2014 to evaluate a three-way deal among Burisma, a Chinese state-owned company, and the government of Kazakhstan. So one of the things that I find particularly interesting, too, is that a lot of times we'll say, like, oh, Burisma, it was an energy company. What does Hunter Biden know about the energy industry? Nothing. That's obvious. But what does he bring to the table? He brings the ability to make these connections. If you pay him $3.5 million or the price of a sports car, he will bring United States government officials to your country or arrange for them to have dinner with you, including up to his father, the vice president of the United States, and will arrange for these meetings between really hostile, corrupt nations to make business deals that, again, ultimately profit him. But his value is the connections that he has. That's what his currency is, connecting. So Oversight goes on to say, Hunter brought in millions of dollars from Yelena Baturina, Burisma, and Kenes Rakashev. Vice President Biden then had dinner with them in the spring of 2014 and 2015 in Washington, D.C. This is clear corruption that enriched the Biden family. Well, obviously, of course it is. I find it fascinating to see exactly who paid the money, where the money went, what Hunter Biden did with the money, and what happened as a result of the payment of that money. That's what House Oversight did. So the question is, how come Joe Biden hasn't been impeached for this? Because this is a high crime or misdemeanor. This is selling out the United States of America